And now, HBO Sports presents World Championship Boxing.
The following is a presentation of HBO Sports.
Crowd is ready. A big roar greets the opening bell.
Tonight, 1 week later, another look at what they called the fight of the century. And the moment Floyd Mayweather stood atop the boxing universe.
And in Grand Rapids, Las Vegas, and everywhere where the money team is revered, the celebration is probably beginning.
Then, live from Houston, Texas, perhaps boxing's next great superstar takes his turn in the spotlight. A Mexican idol known simply as Canelo. Young, appealing, and as exciting as any other fighter in the sport. Tonight, facing a Texan as dangerous as he is hungry, 31-year-old James Kirkland. It's Canelo versus Kirkland, live. After a look back at Mayweather-Pacquiao. A night that transcended the sport of boxing. And then a fight that turns its spotlight forward.
We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas for a very special edition of World Championship Boxing. We're in a packed baseball stadium with seemingly every fan here to see Canelo Alvarez, one of the biggest attractions in boxing. 1 week after all eyes were on Las Vegas, Nevada, 30,000 plus fans are now here in Minute Maid Stadium for the sport's next huge event, and the retractable roof on top of this stadium is being retracted, or opened if you like, even as we speak. And hello again, I'm Jim Lampley, welcoming you to this special edition of HBO's World Championship Boxing. Later on, the main event between Canelo Alvarez and James Kirkland figures as an ultra-high contact, very physical, very exciting fight. Something entirely different than what we saw last week in Las Vegas, but we're going to take you back. And now many of you, I'm sure, will be seeing this for the second time. Some of you will see for the first time the ultra huge pay-per-view extravaganza between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. You lived through the gargantuan buildup. As I mentioned, many of you have already seen the fight. Now a chance to look back at it in delay form. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for Floyd Mayweather against Manny Pacquiao. And that was it in Las Vegas. We bring you now live to Houston, Texas, where we are in Minute Maid Park, the baseball stadium, with a large crowd ready for our main event of the evening, Canelo Alvarez against James Kirkland. But first, we bring you live to ringside with a final recap on Mayweather-Pacquiao, and I'll turn first to the man who called the fight with me, Roy Jones. Roy, first of all, everything since last Saturday night has revolved around the revelation that Manny Pacquiao had a torn rotator cuff. He underwent surgery, or so it was reported this week. Did you ever, at any moment during the fight, think that you were watching an injured fighter in the ring?
No, Jim, at no point in the fight did I really feel like I was watching an injured fighter. However, now looking back, you would wonder why the punch output was down, but I thought it was because of the schematic plan. I thought Floyd Mayweather did a great job of keeping him off with his jab, stepping left and right when he attacked, tie up sometimes when he attacks. So I thought Floyd did all the right things and made all the right moves to negate anything that Manny was doing. Manny came straight down the pipe and he evaded it straight back. He never went left or right to attack Floyd. You can never beat a polished, on-point Floyd Mayweather doing those type of things.
More on Mayweather with you in just a moment. Now let's turn to HBO boxing analyst Max Kellerman. Max, your view on Shouldergate.
I think some people have the sense that Manny Pacquiao sold out for the money. And by fighting with a torn rotator cuff, not giving himself the best chance to win, he somehow perpetrated a fraud on the public. I strongly disagree with this. A dilemma is not a tough choice. A dilemma is a choice between two bad options. What was Manny Pacquiao supposed to do 3 weeks to go before the fight when he was diagnosed with a torn rotator cuff that needed surgery? Was he supposed to postpone the fight? So 12 months off. He already was off for 5 months. He's supposed to come back after shoulder surgery and a 17+ month ring absence to fight and try and beat Floyd Mayweather. Does that give him his best chance to win? When all the tickets have already been sold, the hotel rooms have been booked, the airfare, etc., the eyes of the boxing world hoping to see this fight and this event. What did Manny Pacquiao do? He manned up. He said, if I can get a shot of Toradol in my shoulder, I can go through with this fight. I think that gives me the best chance to win. By the way, if he postpones, there may never be a Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. Who knows if Mayweather's even still active 12 months plus into the future. So Pacquiao's camp clears it with USADA, the drug testing body that Mayweather's side insisted upon. USADA says, fine, a shot of Toradol is fine. And then ultimately, at the 11th hour, the Nevada State Athletic Commission says Pacquiao can't get the shot of Toradol because of essentially a clerical error, because some box wasn't checked off, a form wasn't filled right. If people are mad at anybody for Pacquiao not being at his best, if that's the belief, be mad at the Nevada State Athletic Commission, in my view, because just when the boxing world most needed them to show sound judgment, they decided to stand on principle instead of cooperate with the spirit of the event.
Eloquent and provocative. Now let's turn back to Roy. Floyd Mayweather won the fight. He's 38 years old. He says he's only going to have one more fight. Did we see any slippage whatsoever, or was that the same Floyd Mayweather we've been watching for 10 or 15 years?
Jim, I think it was the same exact Floyd Mayweather that we've been watching for the last 10 or 15 years. And as a matter of fact, I think he was more willing to come out and take more chances this time because it was the biggest fight of his career. I know he doesn't claim it as the biggest fight of his career right now, or right after the fight he didn't. But he was in the biggest fight of his career. He came out and staked his claim in the middle of the ring, and he showed right away that I am here to win tonight by any means necessary. He pounded Pacquiao with hard right hands. He used his jab very smartly. He did all the things that we're used to seeing Floyd Mayweather do to remain as dominant and undefeated as he has been.
Absolutely. Now let's turn back to Max Kellerman. After what Roy has said about Floyd and what you have said about Pacquiao, what does the future bring for both fighters?
Oh, I think we're going to see a rematch eventually. Not that I want to see one, but I think it's an easy enough story to tell and a fight to sell. Look, Manny Pacquiao convinced 2 of the 3 official judges, with one shoulder the story will go, that he won 4 rounds against Floyd. He wins 2 more rounds, that's a majority draw. Maybe he can do better than that with 2 good shoulders. I think that's the story that will be told. But the real issue in this fight, as Roy just mentioned, is that Mayweather poses a defensive riddle that no one's been able to solve, and a lot of that has to do, as Roy mentioned, with that straight right hand of Floyd Mayweather's. He makes fewer mistakes than his opponent, just as was the case in this fight, and when the opponent makes a mistake, he disciplines them with that straight right hand. That's why guys like Canelo Alvarez and Manny Pacquiao aren't in such a rush to give him the bum's rush. That's why their punch output goes way down.
All right, we'll turn our attention to the main event between Canelo Alvarez and James Kirkland in just a moment. Let's look ahead to upcoming events here on HBO.
On Friday, May 15, it's boxing on True TV. Headlining the telecast is Jose Benavidez against Jorge Paez Jr. On Saturday, May 16, it's the return of Triple G.
Hard uppercut by Golovkin. Predator at work. Down goes Rubio.
Live from the LA Forum, Gennady Golovkin looks to continue clearing out the middleweight division as he takes on Willie Monroe. Also that night, the Nicaraguan climbing the pound-for-pound list, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez faces off against Mexican veteran Edgar Sosa for a flyweight title. Then on June 6th, it's the return of Miguel Cotto to World Championship Boxing.
Martinez badly hurt with a left hook.
Cotto's off to a blazing start.
Fighting for the first time at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, Cotto puts his middleweight title on the line against the tough Australian Daniel Geale.
1 week later on Boxing After Dark, Nicholas Walters returns to the ring.
Walters with 2 more right hands, and Donaire is down again.
The Jamaican knockout artist will make his Broadway debut inside the theater at Madison Square Garden. That same night, rising Puerto Rican star Felix Verdejo looks to continue his unbeaten run as he faces off against Ivan Neira. The HBO boxing schedule continues to look ahead. Welterweight warrior Timothy Desert Storm Bradley headlines World Championship Boxing on June 27th.
Look at this.
What is Timothy Bradley made of?
Bradley will be tested against undefeated Jesse Vargas. Don't miss a moment of the action. For more information on the schedule and the fighters, go to HBO.com and InsideHBOBoxing.com. Now we bring you back live to Minute Maid Park in Houston, where a crowd of more than 30,000, the largest live crowd for a boxing match in America this year, has gathered to see Canelo Alvarez against James Kirkland in the junior middleweight division, 154 pounds. You devoted boxing fans at home may have expected at this moment to see the preliminary bout between Frankie Gomez, rising star and former American amateur standout, against Mexican veteran Humberto Soto. When Gomez showed up at the weigh-in weighing 147, 6 pounds above the agreed-upon limit of 140, give or take a pound, that fight was canceled from this card, and we will not be showing it to you. So we go straight to the main event. Let's turn to Roy Jones. Roy Jones, Canelo Alvarez was one of the hottest properties in boxing, even when he lost to Floyd Mayweather a year and a half ago. He's still one of the hottest names in boxing. How good is he, and what is his upper potential, his ceiling?
Jim, he's very good. I mean, very, very good. I mean, you got to think about it. 24 years old, already has been in the ring with fighters such as Sugar Shane Mosley and Floyd Mayweather Jr. I mean, how much more could you ask for? He's already got over 40 fights, and he's only 24. This could be the next coming of a somewhat Julio Cesar Chavez, meaning that he may get that good, and he also may get in excess of 100 wins before his career is over.
Amazing. Canelo Alvarez is 24 years old, as we mentioned, already has a handful of notable fights on his resume, as we mentioned. Putting aside his 44 victories, perhaps Canelo's most important learning experience was his loss to Floyd Mayweather. If you missed our excellent 24/7 episode this week, you now get a second chance to see what Canelo had to say.
As he enters his 10th year as a pro, the career of the fighter christened Canelo, or Cinnamon for his red hair, has become an impressive chronicle. From his earliest days as a talented teenager to his rise to 42-0 by 2013, when he reached the summit of boxing stardom, a bout with Floyd Mayweather.
Todos pensábamos que ya Saúl era invencible y yo hubiera arriesgado mi vida porque estaba bien confiado. Esa pelea se me figura como cuando tú vas a una fiesta y hay una piñata y te ponen una venda y le empieza a pegar a la piñata y te dice la gente, pégale para arriba, y cuando le pegas arriba ya está abajo, y cuando dice ahora abajo y le pegas abajo ya está arriba.
Slowly, Floyd is busting up that face of Canelo Alvarez.
Y se fueron yendo los rounds y vimos que la única forma de ganar esa pelea era noqueando a Mayweather.
Canelo keeps just missing.
Pero la cosa es que no veíamos por dónde noquear a Mayweather.
Uno nunca está preparado para perder, siempre te preparas para ganar. Esa noche me tocó perder.
Lo hizo ser una persona más sensata, más madura. Afortunadamente, una cosa muy importante, y quiero decirle a la gente, Saul tiene solamente 24 años.
Wins over Alfredo Angulo and Erislandy Lara in 2014 propelled Canelo's career again forward. But in December, an ankle injury sidelined him, and the 10 months that have passed since his last fight represent his longest ever layoff.
Me vine aquí para entrenar mucho antes de lo debido para poder hacer la rehabilitación bien y llegar en buena forma para la pelea. Me siento con ganas de pelear, ¿no? Como con esas ganas de ya estar arriba del ring. Me siento como león enjaulado, ahora sí como dicen. No, el rival es uno de los más peligrosos en la división y para mí es importante ir peleando y ganando con todos estos rivales fuertes que hay.
Tonight may present one of the most interesting tests, if not the most interesting so far in Alvarez's career, because, Max, he's getting ready to fight one of the most turbulent and violent forces in boxing, James Kirkland, who's 32-1 with 28 knockouts. In the past, when we've seen Kirkland trained by his force of nature trainer, Ann Wolfe, he has been amazingly violent, tremendously effective. The one time we saw him not trained by Ann Wolfe, he was knocked out in one round by Nobuhiro Ishida, a light hitter from Japan. And tonight, once again, he's without Ann Wolfe. So which James Kirkland will show up?
That's the question. I mean, before the Ishida fight, I've never seen anything like that happen to a fighter like Kirkland, known for the indomitable will. He's the irresistible force, walks through anything in order to get the win, and then the one time he doesn't have Ann Wolfe, he gets knocked out in one round by a guy who can't punch. But before the Ishida fight, Kirkland didn't look or sound the part. That hasn't been the case before this fight. When we met with him yesterday at our fighter meetings, take a look for yourself.
I want to be on him so close, it's going to feel like we're, you know, and people, they laugh because they don't understand what I mean by that. I want him to smell my breath, smell my tension. If I haven't showered in 3 days, I want him to smell the musk. I want him to smell and understand that I'm here for a dog fight.
So he's looking the part and he's talking the talk. But without Ann Wolfe, can he walk the walk? Does he really want it? Because with Ann Wolfe, he will walk through fire to smash his opponent. And he's going to need that kind of determination tonight against the superiorly skilled Canelo Alvarez.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a look at the tail of the tape now for Canelo Alvarez against James Kirkland. And you see the age advantage of 7 years for Canelo Alvarez, but because he turned pro at 15, he's already fought nearly 3 times as many rounds in his career as has Kirkland, who has had 3 lengthy layoffs mid-career, 2 of them because of imprisonment, 1 because of lengthy indecision about which fight he wanted to take. Arm length advantage of a ½ inch for the southpaw Kirkland. They both weighed in at 154.5. The agreed upon weight was 154, give or take a pound, so they were right there in weighing in at 154.5. While much has been made of James Kirkland fighting tonight without longtime trainer Ann Wolfe, that doesn't diminish their significant history together. In a life filled with turmoil enough for a Dickens novel, Kirkland and Wolfe have been together through the best and worst of times.
James Kirkland won his first 11 pro fights, but then in 2003 was sent to jail for 30 months for armed robbery.
Coming up the ranks with James, he didn't fight for 2 years and he got in trouble. And I went to James and I said, look, man, you got too much of potential just to sit out and do nothing. I said, let's try. Let's try to try.
When he was freed, trainer Ann Wolfe, known for her militant style and extreme workouts, continued to push the fighter who some had come to call the mini Tyson.
Down goes Vera.
You know, everybody gave me that Tyson momentum and that name because my style was kind of like his. We was knocking everybody out. First, second, third round, I was knocking them out. I love to win. I wanted to win.
Nevertheless, Kirkland proved unable to leave his past behind. And while still on probation for armed robbery, he was arrested for gun possession. 2 more years behind bars would follow.
When James went to jail in 2009, it knocked all the wind out of me. I put a lot of time into James. James not as crazy as people think. He just don't make good decisions sometimes.
In fact, after Kirkland was freed, he decided to part ways with Wolf. But facing the unknown Nobuhiro Ishida a few months later, the results were disastrous.
Third knockdown now, and Joe Cortez is stopping the fight.
You start thinking, dang, man, what am I doing with myself? So immediately after my loss, I said, you know what, I'm going back to Austin, hook it back up with Ann, and get back to what I know.
Together again, Kirkland and Wolf faced their hardest task yet in 2011 against the fearsome Mexican Alfredo Angulo.
He's going to need a superhuman effort tonight to beat Alfredo Angulo.
Already Kirkland is backing Alfredo Angulo up.
Oh!
And down goes Kirkland.
What a right hand.
You know, it wasn't that I was hurt, but then he felt like it. So he's going to bring everything in the kitchen sink with it.
Angulo better not punch himself out here because he'll have a problem if he does.
Boom. I took advantage of it.
Kirkland pounding out bigger and bigger advantages by the round.
When James has his mind set on doing something, he's dangerous. Especially if he has somebody that knows how to get that dog out of him.
Well, if Kirkland continues this and can apply the finisher, a star is reborn.
I never listened to the criticism. I've been in this position many times before. We know Kirkland can't do it. He's been locked up. Anybody that I fight, they're gonna, oh, Kirkland, he got knocked down in his last fight. But I won, baby. I'm just ready to fight Canelo.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this party started! Coming to the ring from Austin, Texas, the Mandingo Warrior, James Kirkland!
It's been a year and a half since Kirkland's last tour of duty in the ring, the night that he very violently knocked out Glenn Tapia in Atlantic City. This time the delay was not because of a criminal infraction, but rather because of disputes with his promoter, 50 Cent, disputes over which fight he should take, backing out of a date with Canelo nearly a year and 3 months ago, and finally he put himself in position to get the fight again, and here he is.
When he is right, James Kirkland is probably the most exciting fighter in boxing. The question is, can he be right without Ann Wolf? And then if the answer is yes, can Canelo make him wrong?
Y ahora, damas y caballeros, de Guadalajara, Jalisco, México, Saul Canelo
the crowd responds to the young man whose nickname Canelo stands for cinnamon in Spanish, an obvious reference to the carrot top, which sets him apart. There's the recent record. And now let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Minute Maid Park here in Houston, Texas, USA, and the main event of the evening. It's Slugger versus Slugger, KO artist versus KO artist, 12 rounds of boxing in the super welterweight division. And it's all brought to you by Golden Boy Promotions in association with Canelo Promotions, SMS Promotions, and Leja Bata Promotions. Sponsored by Corona Extra, La Cerveza Más Fina. Mexico, live it to believe it. Fred Loya, put Loya in your corner, and O'Reilly's Auto Parts, better prices every day. This bout is sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. Chairman Mike Arizmendez. Executive Director William Kuntz. This contest dedicated to the memory of Jerry Lustenau. At ringside, the 3 judges scoring this bout. David Iacobucci, Levi Martinez, and Barry Yates. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, the referee, John Shorley. And now, the officials are ready. The fighters are in the ring, and they are ready. Boxing fans, are you ready? Damas y caballeros, estamos listos. For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black with red, officially weighing in at 154 1/2 pounds. He has 33 professional fights, 32 victories, including 28 big wins by knockout, with only 1 defeat. From Austin, Texas, USA, the former WBC Continental Americas Super Welterweight Champion, James Mandingo Warrior Kirkland. And fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with green, official weight, also 154 1/2 pounds. As a professional, 44 professional victories, including 31 wins by knockout, only 1 defeat, with 1 draw. De Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, the former super welterweight champion of the world, Saul Canelo
Okay, those trunks are good there. Those trunks are good there. James, give me a good, clean fight. Obey my commands and protect yourselves at all times. Canelo, yo quiero una pelea limpia. Obedezcan mis órdenes y protéjanse a todo tiempo.
Well, if you love action and the big fight last week put you to sleep, wake up, because more likely than not, one of these 2 is about to go to sleep.
Who am I looking for? This fight might knock you out. The relatively unknown trainer in James Kirkland's corner tonight is San Antonio's Rick Moronis. He's 32 years old. He's never trained a fighter of Kirkland's quality in a fight this big. Canelo Alvarez has been trained his entire career by the father-son team in his corner, Chepo Reynoso and his son Jose. Round 1 begins. Right hand over the top by Canelo Alvarez. Roy, would you regard him more as an attacker or a counterpuncher?
Well, he's a counterpuncher, and tonight he'll have to be a counterpuncher because he's fighting a guy who's going to be all over him. But he can fight either way, Jim. He can attack or he can counter.
Canelo on the defensive right now as Kirkland fires away, and Canelo keeps his guard up in the corner.
Canelo already ate a good right hand from Kirkland. It's one of the reasons he's in the corner right now.
Hard right hand by Canelo. Kirkland firing away, lands a left, lands another left. Canelo's getting hit by Kirkland, and he's stuck in the corner.
But let's remember, Kirkland is vulnerable, especially early. We saw it against Angulo. He sometimes goes too offensive early, and against Angulo was dropped with the right hand.
And when he gets knocked down, sometimes it's because Kirkland squares his feet up and forgets to stay in a responsible boxing stance.
He just got hurt bad with the left hook. Just got hurt real bad with the left hook.
Canelo with that good left hook.
Oh, he got hurt bad again with it.
Canelo almost landed the third big left hook, but he's landed two good ones in a row.
And a straight right hand behind it.
They're willing to take that left hook instead of gambling on Canelo's right uppercut.
Kirkland open to the right hand.
He's done.
Right hand leads down the middle by Alvarez. Kirkland hurt again.
Hurt very bad, Jim.
Both fighters have been hurt in round one. Hard right hand by Canelo. Alvarez has a chance for something big.
I've never seen Kirkland try to play rope-a-dope. That tells you how hurt he must be.
Well, Canelo taking his time and landing the big shot knowing
hard right hand. Down goes Kirkland. Minutes still to go in the first round. Possible opportunity for a first round knockout by Canelo.
Hey, stay there. Come here, come here, come here, come here.
No stranger to getting knocked down in round one. Kirkland has tasted the canvas here.
They should have stayed close to Canelo. He was much safer when he was close. He can't outbox him, and he can't box with him. Close range was his best option because now Canelo is throwing wicked body shots, wicked uppercuts, and Canelo has gotten comfortable.
And Canelo can't miss with the straight right hand.
Not from that
painting Kirkland with those shots.
Not from that distance, Jim. Now he's doing the same thing that Pacquiao did last week. He's staying right in the wrong distance to win the fight.
Hard left hook by Alvarez.
Guys, the reason we know Kirkland's name is precisely because he walks through stuff like this. But again, that's only been with Ann Wolf. The only other time he didn't have her, he was knocked out in the first round, and he's in jeopardy here in the first round.
Another right hand.
Bad body shot.
Again. Huge body shot by Canelo. He's piecing this together brilliantly ever since the early assault from Kirkland that locked him in the corner. Huge right hand. Left hook to the body. Canelo working. John Shorley looking. And Kirkland's going to make it out of the round just barely. That was an assault. Crowd is rocking and roaring in Houston. More action in the first round here than in 12 rounds last Saturday night.
Mayweather and Pacquiao could fight 120 rounds. They won't produce that much action against each other.
Take advantage, man. Keep them hands up. Go nice and tight.
Here you see Canelo throw a left body shot followed by a straight right hand right down the pipe. That hurt, and that sent Kirkland to the canvas quickly. Once again, you see a straight right lead, block, body shot, straight right down the pipe. That right hand will put you down every time.
Canelo's mother, Anna Alvarez, and girlfriend, Melda, both reacting very positively to what they saw in round one. CompuBox numbers, Alvarez was 38 of 68 in round one. 36 of them were power connects, 10 to the body, just like that. Left hook to the body there. And another big left hook. Knocks Kirkland into the ropes. Alvarez landing everything. Straight right, straight right, straight right. Left to the body.
Kirkland's going to get stopped if he doesn't throw some shots.
Tremendous shots.
How is he still here? I don't know.
Incredible conditioning is the only answer.
And punching back. And still trying.
Uppercut by Alvarez. He's hitting him with everything but the kitchen sink, and Kirkland's still standing up.
That's why they call him the Mandingo Warrior,
and
Jim.
Now the Mandingo Warrior starts to fire himself.
He is throwing punches.
He can survive that assault.
He is throwing punches, and he's showing great resolve, but the punches don't yet have the snap that they do when he starts to come back in these many fights we've seen.
Well, because Canelo is smart enough to attack the body as well as the head. He's not just attacking him to the head like most people make the mistake and do.
And look at this, guys. Canelo loves this kind of fight. You can see it.
This is what your boy Triple G talks about when he says Mexican style. This is Mexican style. at its best.
Now Kirkland once again pins Canelo against the ropes.
Kirkland went right-handed for a minute.
Straightens himself up into his southpaw stance. Throws some jabs, looking for a chance to land a left hand. Reaching over the top and missing. And Canelo getting a little bit of a breather here. Before he starts to fire.
What heart Kirkland has already shown.
You couldn't find a big one, Max.
99 out of 100 fighters have already lost this fight.
Twice.
Good head movement by Canelo Alvarez. Now he fires back to the body. Good left-hand shot to the body. Hurt Kirkland again. Straight right hand. Here comes Kirkland. It's an all-out war in round 2.
And these are big, powerful junior middleweights throwing bombs with every punch.
How is he taking those body shots, Jim? I do not know.
I wonder if Canelo Alvarez is punched out a little bit after all the throwing in the last minute of the first round.
No, he's not, Jim. This is what he's used to. This is what he prepared for. And as you know, he was taking his time economically picking his shots. He wasn't just going haywire with them. So he is not punched out.
That was the right uppercut Team Kirkland hoped to avoid. They're getting hit with everything. But that uppercut lifted him off the canvas.
Left to the body, right to the body, right uppercut. Another big rally by Alvarez.
And he is tired.
Don't drop your hands, son, at all.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Stay prepared for that hook.
He's wearing down, man. Hey, he's wearing down. That's why he's taking breaks on the ropes again.
He ain't never been no
keep
fight
your
like
fucking
this.
hands up. Get your feet together. Keep that front foot in front of you. Don't square up, baby, okay?
I got it. He ain't no fight like this.
Spit with the spit, spit.
Never
Big
been
breath.
no fight like this.
Again, one more.
You see Canelo land a beautiful left uppercut. What keeps Kirkland up on his feet, I do not know. You couldn't ask for a better placed left uppercut, just like this left hook, right on the button. Left hooks don't get landed any cleaner than this. I mean, wow. What a beard and what conditioning Kirkland must have right now.
CompuBox numbers in round 2. Alvarez landed 29 of 54. Kirkland threw 90 punches in the second round after almost getting knocked out in the first round. Only landed 16 of them, but landed some very hard shots. Right uppercut is landing still for Canelo Alvarez. Now Kirkland begins to throw to the body.
Kirkland's conditioning coach, Bebe McClinton, said that the only athlete he's ever worked with, and he's worked with a lot of NBA and NFL players, the only one that compares to Kirkland in terms of his will is Priest Holmes. And Kirkland has that kind of great running back quality. When the play is over, his legs are still churning. Here's Kirkland, arms still churning after those first 2 rounds. Amazing.
Man, what will?
How shocked would we be at this point if this fight went 12 rounds?
Oh, no way.
No way.
This is what you should have gave $100 to see if you want to see a fight. You got a boxing match last week. That's a different thing than a fight.
This is a fight.
Yeah, this is a fight. This is not much skill, but a fight. Little skill, but less than what we see from the best.
But if there's a skill advantage, it belongs to Canelo Alvarez, and that means the premium for Kirkland is on heart and will and guts, and he has them all in abundance.
So far, it's skill over will, and Kirkland has to change that equation.
Perfect shots by Canelo Alvarez. Kirkland keeps coming.
He can't keep giving Canelo them big shots, though, Jim. One of those body shots. Those body shots will wear anybody down.
What a savage beating.
This is target practice for Canelo Alvarez.
Yes, it is.
And Kirkland's taking every shot and coming back.
And telling him to cut. There he is.
Uppercut knocks Kirkland down. Second knockdown of the fight.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, baby. 8. Stay there. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Show me something.
Kirkland at great pains to let John Shorley know he's not knocked out, just knocked down. Second knockdown. That right uppercut continues to land. There's a perfect straight right hand, and Shorley's going to stop the fight. What a performance by Canelo Alvarez.
Maybe all things considered, the most electrifying of Canelo Alvarez's career.
Talk about closing the show. Alvarez landed 20 out of 28 punches in the second round, all of them power shots, and that uppercut was unbelievable tonight.
Yeah, Jim, the uppercut was unbelievable. The overhand right, even more unbelievable, but the guy, he made him do that. Kirkland put so much pressure on him that he had to resort to just throwing big shots. Forget the jab, forget the tap shots, throw big shots to either get him out of there or get him off you.
And they are still working with James Kirkland on the deck as Canelo Alvarez thinks to himself about what he's been through in an unbelievable fight.
That was that uppercut, Jim, right up under the left jab, which is why he abandoned the jab. He wanted Kirkland to throw those type punches so that he could counter. Once again, Kirkland threw that left hand, and then it was the left hand, he stuck it out like a jab, and then he countered it with the uppercut, which is why you don't stick late lagging punches out like that. You give a guy something to work on.
So through all of the firefight in there, Canelo was thinking the whole time.
Thinking the whole time. He looked down to the body right with a jab and comes right over the top with the overhand right. He knew that Kirkland was prone to getting knocked down, and if you can get knocked down like that, it's not as hard to knock you out if you keep working the body shots. If you watch his attack, Canelo always got good body shots in during those attacks.
Talking about body shots, there he aims low and then fires upstairs. A perfect feint.
That's what I call look down but come up.
A brilliant display by Canelo Alvarez. One more look.
Remember, Wilfred Benitez's knockout of Maurice Hope was almost the exact same punch, just without the jab. He looked down and came over the top, and that's where you see real old school boxing lessons right there what Canelo Alvarez just showed you. Wow.
An amazing win for Alvarez. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the particulars on the knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Houston, Texas, in the tradition of slugger versus slugger, the end comes at 2 minutes, 19 seconds of round number 3. The winner by knockout victory, the fighting pride of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, Saul Canelo
Final CompuBox numbers. And once again, Canelo landed 20 out of 28 in the third round en route to the knockout. Every one of them was a power shot. All in all, he lands 58% of his punches, landing 45 more than Kirkland while throwing 47 fewer. Kirkland not nearly as accurate, though he was throwing hard all the way through the second and third rounds after having gotten hurt badly in the first. Power punches, Canelo 79 out of 132, 60%. He had a willing target, he took advantage of it, he mixed his punches brilliantly. Kirkland landing 41 of 177, and some of those 41 landed punches were hellacious shots. But at the end of the day, Canelo Alvarez had too much skill and too much presence of mind for James Kirkland. Let's go to Max Kellerman with the winner.
Congratulations, Canelo, on a sensational, electrifying knockout win in front of all these people. How do you feel about being in a fight like this?
No, me siento muy bien, me siento muy contento, agradecido con toda la gente que está aquí apoyándome.
I feel very good. I feel very happy with all the people that are here supporting me.
Es una gran motivación para mí. Eso me da fuerza para levantarme, correr, entrenar y seguir ganando peleas. Muchas gracias a todos.
This gives me great motivation to get up in the morning, to keep running, to keep winning fights. Thank you, everyone.
But you've won plenty of fights in the past. This was a high-profile fight where the two of you went to war. It was an action fight. What do you think about that kind of fight?
Así es, Kirkland es un gran peleador, es un peleador muy fuerte, como pensábamos, ¿no? Como pensábamos, un peleador que iba a ir hacia el frente, tirando golpes, y así fue, ¿no? Al principio nos fatigamos un poco porque empezó muy fuerte la pelea, pero después empecé a agarrar mi ritmo, entonces fue como gané la pelea.
Kirkland is a great fighter. We knew he was going to come in and throw punches. You know, at the beginning, we were both a little exhausted, but I knew what had happened, and I knew we would win the fight.
It seems to me that you prefer this kind of fight to a Lara kind of fight, where there's not as much action. Is that the case?
No, siempre pelear con un peleador como Kirkland que le gusta pelear. Para mí y para la gente creo que es las peleas que les gusta ver, ¿no? Y claro, me encanta.
Fighting a man against like Kirkland, a man that comes to fight, is something that the public's like and that I love.
Did you feel after last week's big fight that didn't produce fireworks that you could create something special here for boxing fans who are hungry for that kind of fight?
Mira, sinceramente yo no me baso en otras peleas. Yo no me baso en otras carreras, yo me baso en lo que yo hago, en las peleas que yo hago, y a la gente le gusta y eso es lo que me importa.
Truthfully, I don't focus on other fighters, I don't focus on other fights. I do what I do what the people like, and that's what's important to me.
So let's focus on your next fight. You just took care of business. If Cotto takes care of business in June, are you interested in fighting Cotto before the end of this year?
Yo estoy listo para cualquier rival. Yo no lo rehuyo a nadie y estoy listo aquí para cualquiera.
I'm ready for any rival. I don't run away from anyone. I'm ready for anyone.
That's one of the things we all love about you. Does that include Triple G in the not-too-distant future, Gennady Golovkin?
Claro, ¿por qué no? Él es un gran campeón, es un guerrero. Son de los peleadores que me gusta pelear. En el futuro está esa pelea, ¿por qué no?
Yes, why not? He's a great champion. He's a warrior, and that's the type of fighter that I want to fight. In the future, yes.
Thank you, Canelo, for a spectacular showing.
Ben, you okay? My respect for you.
Thank you, you too.
James, congratulations on a tough showing. You jumped on him, you seemed to catch him with a right hand early, followed him into the corner, and then he seemed to start unloading on you. How badly were you hurt in that first round?
Honestly, first most I want to give thanks to God for this opportunity, because without him, none of this is possible.
And I should ask, can you even remember clearly a fight like that at a moment like this when so many punches were exchanged?
Most definitely. You know, I'm a fighter, so most definitely you got to be able to know your ins and your outs when it comes to being in the ring. Most, as I can say, you know, I got in there, putting work together. I evidently left my left hand down, and he came over the top and caught me with a shot. You know, I tried to regroup the referee. He called it off. So most definitely, I take nothing away from Canelo. He did an outstanding job, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm a warrior, you know. I definitely like that type of fighting, that type of exposure, you know, and that's exactly what I needed.
Oh, you're a warrior. That's why everyone loves you. Boxing fans. But the way you usually win fights is you may have to get over some rocky moments, and we've consistently seen you do that except for the Ishida fight. What was it about Canelo when, even when you got back and you overcame and you shook the cobwebs and you started pressuring him, what was it about Canelo that you ultimately weren't able to overcome?
As I say, you know, he's a crafty fighter. You know, he come with a lot of skill, a lot of fights, you know. I take nothing away from him. He was just on his P's and Q's, and he showed it tonight.
Thank you, James. We look forward to seeing you again. Jim?
All right, one more look at the knockout now. This is the last of the 3 knockdowns in the fight. Kirkland's hands down. Canelo hitting him with the straight right hand right on the chin. He landed so many power shots perfectly on the button. And at that point, referee John Shorley jumping in. He had seen enough. And indeed, from what we saw after that, it appeared that Kirkland could not have made a 10 count. He could not have gotten up from that shot. So the knockout is as legit can be. And the celebration at ringside began immediately. Canelo's mother, Anna, his girlfriend, Imelda, rejoicing that this brief, violent fight had come to a close in favor of their man. And now live at ringside with Roy Jones. And Roy, on June 6th, Miguel Cotto defends the middleweight championship against Daniel Geale. If Cotto can get past Daniel Geale, it is expected by many that perhaps this fall, Canelo Alvarez and Miguel Cotto will finally meet each other. What kind of a fight will it be?
Well, it's going to be another one of these type of fights. Freddie Roach is the best thing that has ever happened to Miguel Cotto. He has turned Miguel Cotto back into an aggressive puncher, the guy we like to see. A guy that does not care to box. He wants to come in and destroy you, as we saw in his last fight. So with that being said, Canelo is a counterpuncher who, once he gets hit hard, he changes into a guy who's ready to assault or attack you too. So as we saw tonight, once you get him started, he's crunk. He's like an old pit bulldog. Once you turn him on, there's no turning him off. So that would be a very interesting fight to see.
Fan-friendly, to say the very least. The final word from Max Kellerman about this brilliant performance, truly brilliant, by Canelo Alvarez.
Yes, it was. James Kirkland has always been able to overcome the superior skill of his skilled opponents with his indomitable will. He somehow breaks through against all odds. You look at Kirkland, you go, he can't beat a guy that much better than him. But he's always been able to do it, except for the one fight he didn't have Van Wolf. And here, it was Canelo's skill over Kirkland's will. But the problem for Kirkland here is when you run into a more skilled fighter who can match your will or very nearly match your will, what do you do then? That's when Kirkland most needs Ann Wolf. I don't think it's coincidence. In the only 2 fights in his career he hasn't had her, he's been knocked out. Canelo is a star, and he's on the verge of becoming a superstar with a performance like this. A fight with Cotto would be a mega event, and it would be guaranteed to produce fireworks.
What a privilege it was for us to bring you this particular firefight tonight between Canelo Alvarez and James Kirkland. What a run of boxing we've had here on HBO in the last month. Can it possibly get any better? Triple G is in the Forum next week. So we're finally done with our big events both in Las Vegas last week and Houston here tonight. But HBO Boxing isn't through with our remarkable run of fights. Take a look at our full slate of boxing in the weeks ahead, including some of your favorite fighters: Triple G Gennady Golovkin, Miguel Cotto, Nicholas Walters, Felix Verdejo, and Timothy Bradley. And now for everyone here at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, I'm Jim Lampley saying so long and see you next week from the Forum in Los Angeles.